When I think about grunge, it's usually the early 1990s time period, back when the whole thing just took off. Then it slowly started to disappear. Kurt Cobain was gone. Soundgarden eventually called it quits. Alice in Chains. They were never the same without Lane. The Stone Temple Pilots were just trying to hold it together. For a while it felt like grunge would become ancient history, but one of grunge's founding bands kept the genre moving forward. They weren't trying to keep the past alive, like some sad nostalgia act. They just continued to write and release new music. They kept touring relentlessly and evolving, getting better but not losing who they were. That band is Pearl Jam. So it raises an interesting question. Has Pearl Jam been carrying grunge forward all along? When 10 exploded in 1991, Pearl Jam had everything: hit records, arena tours, MTV. They could have spent the next 30 years trying to make 10 over and over again. Many bands probably would have. Instead, they kept moving. They stayed committed to making great music, entertaining their fans with live shows and new releases. Albums like Versus, Vitalogy, No Code, and Yield. Each took the band somewhere different. Sometimes fans were surprised. Sometimes critics questioned the direction. But Pearl Jam never seemed interested in repeating themselves. They were interested in making honest music. And that's one reason they're still here today. More than 30 years later, Pearl Jam is still making new music. Albums like Gigaton and Dark Matter show a band that's still creating instead of simply remembering. Songs like Wreckage don't sound like they're recreating 1991 to me. They sound like musicians continuing to grow. Older, wiser, but still unmistakably Pearl Jam. Eddie's voice seems to be getting better with age. More calm, more full. Stone Gossard and the band keep creating perfect tapestries for each new song. One thing that's always set Pearl Jam apart is the people standing beside each other on stage. Since forming in 1990, Vedder, Ament, Gossard, and McCready have stayed together through decades of changing music, changing trends, and changing lives. Like any band, they've had disagreements. They've faced creative differences, lineup changes, and the pressures that come with staying together for more than 30 years. But they kept choosing the band. When former Soundgarden drummer Matt Cameron joined in 1998, he didn't just fill an empty seat behind the drums. He became another trusted brother in a band that values loyalty as much as talent. And after all these years, that bond may be one of the biggest reasons Pearl Jam is still moving forward together. And maybe that's what carrying grunge forward really looks like. Lots of bands survive. Few continue to evolve. Pearl Jam never became a tribute to itself. They kept taking chances, experimenting. Their concerts still change every night. New songs stand beside classics. Deep cuts appear without warning. They're not preserving grunge behind museum glass. They're still living it. Here's why that's important. Every new Pearl Jam album changes the story of grunge. Most genres eventually become something you study. You look back, remember the great records, and celebrate what once was. But every time Pearl Jam releases another album, that timeline grows. The grunge story doesn't end in 1994 or 2002. It gains another chapter. Few movements in rock history can say that. And maybe that's their greatest contribution, not preserving the past, but proving the spirit of grunge was never meant to stand still. So, is Pearl Jam still carrying grunge forward? If grunge was only a certain sound, maybe it ended years ago. But if grunge was about honesty, creative freedom, and making music because you still have something worth saying, then maybe it never disappeared. Maybe it simply kept moving. And maybe Pearl Jam has been leading that journey all along. What do you think? Is Pearl Jam carrying grunge forward? Or did grunge end with the 1990s? Let us know. We would love to hear from you.